Thank you. Lamb mortalities represent a major source of reproductive wastage within the Australian sheep industry. Approximately 30% of all lambs born will die prior to marking, and these losses are estimated to cost the industry over $540 million each year. Economic modelling has shown that improving the survival of twin-born lambs is the highest priority for improving reproductive performance. We know that optimising maternal nutrition is key for improving lamb survival. An extension of the lifetime ewe management guidelines to industry, which recommend that use a pregnancy scan to identify single and twin-bearing ewes to optimise maternal nutrition. Adoption of those guidelines has led to improvements in marking rate of over 10%. However, it's evident that additional strategies are required to achieve further improvements in lamb survival. So higher mob sizes and stocking rates have been associated with an increased risk of mismothering and therefore lamb mortality, and that's linked to the greater number of lambs being born per day, particularly in our twin-bearing mobs. However, there's very little evidence to support current recommendations to producers regarding the allocation of ewes to mobs and paddocks at lambing. So the National Lambing Density Project is looking to quantify the impacts of mob size and stocking rate on the survival of lambs born on commercial farms across southern Australia. This research is being funded by AWI and MLA, and one of the components of the project is a 2x2 designed experiment looking at a combination of either a high or a low mob size with a high or a low stocking rate. So essentially there's 4 mobs on each farm. The research has been conducted on 70 farms, and so far we've completed 60 of those sites. So essentially about 10 days before the ewes are due to start lambing, they're allocated into one of the 4 mobs. So these are all adult twin-bearing ewes of either merino or non-merino breed on each farm. Once we've allocated them into their mobs, we also condition score them, so look at their fat and muscle cover, and also assess feed on offer or FOO in each of the 4 lambing paddocks. We then come back at marking, again condition score the ewes, assess FOO, and we count the number of lambs in each mob to determine lamb survival. So preliminary research findings from the 60 research sites that have been completed have shown that higher mob sizes, but not stocking rates, decrease the survival of twin-born lambs. And when we have a closer look at that relationship between mob size and lamb survival, shown in this graph, we can see that survival of lambs decreases by 2% for each extra 100 twin-bearing ewes in the mob. So basically reducing mob size by 100 ewes increases the number of lambs marked by at least 4 per mob. This result was consistent across both merino and non-merino breeds, and where stocking rate ranged from between 2 and 11 twin-bearing ewes per hectare. So, and quite consistent across a range of condition scores and FOOs as well. Later this year, once all of the research sites have been completed, we'll conduct a cost-benefit analysis to consider the costs associated with subdividing paddocks to lamb ewes in smaller mobs, but also the additional benefits. For example, lambing ewes in smaller mobs and smaller paddocks will also improve past utilisation. So overall, this research has shown that reducing mob size can be used as a strategy to improve the survival of lambs, particularly our twins, and therefore contribute to improved productivity and profitability within the Australian sheep industry. Thank you.